I'd like for us to be real for a minute, right? So, have you ever wanted to do something like you wanted to do something so bad, but for some reason you just don't do it? Like, I mean, you have all the opportunity, you have the talent, and you even have all the resources that you need to make this thing happen, right? But for some reason, your brain is just like, you know what? We're not moving today. We're not doing shit. Well, congratulations. I think you might be actively self sabotaging. Welcome to the club where membership is free. Oh, on the side, membership is very free. But the cost of the consequences, oh my God, very expensive. But today, we're going to be addressing why we self sabotage and most importantly, how to stop blocking our blessings. Because, guys, if I'm being honest, this is, I think it's something that we all get to suffer from. I still self sabotage. Oh, I do a lot. But I hope after today, me and you watching, I hope we get some clarity on, how to move forward. But before we start, what's one thing you've always wanted to do, right? You keep saying, I'll do this, but you never end up doing. Be honest. We won't judge. I won't judge, mostly. Kindly share with us in the comment section. So, what is self sabotage? Self sabotage is basically you being the villain in your own life. I mean, hearing that sounds silly, right? Because how are you the villain in your own life when we all want the best for ourselves? Imagine you're in a movie, right? And you happen to be the main character of that movie. And every time something good is about to happen, boom, you mess it up. You set your own house on fire. And then you proceed to blame the universe, God, the circumstances, everything else but yourself, right? That's basically what self sabotage is. It's when, like, you know that you have to work on something. Imagine you have a project due, but somehow you find yourself scrolling through Instagram, and before you know it, 4 hours is gone, 10 hours gone, and then you're like, I'm going to do it tomorrow. You push it over to tomorrow, and then tomorrow comes, and then you repeat the cycle again and again and again. Oh, exhausting. And I think there are many ways to do it. Self sabotage, right? It happens in many ways. One, procrastination. This one is a hole that I am deep in, and I'm still like trying to dig myself out of. Procrastination. I'll start tomorrow. I'll start next week. And then tomorrow comes and you find an excuse and you're like, I'm going to start next tomorrow. I'm going to start the next month. And it's just on, it goes on and on and on. And before you know it, we're midway through the year and then the year is over. And then you look back and you're like, okay, what have I done with all this time? I think if I had 1,000 francs for every time I procrastinated, I'll probably be the richest girl in this country. Because, guys, I don't know how many times I've pushed things forward. Even before recording this video today, oh my God, I said I was going to do it on Sunday. Sunday came and I was like, okay, Monday. And then Monday came and I was like, I still have time. Tuesday. And then Ineo happened. And Ineo took the whole of Tuesday from me. So I was like, okay, Wednesday. But excuses upon excuses upon excuses. If I'd started on Sunday, I mean, it won't be much of a hassle, right? But just to let you know that procrastination is something that even I myself, I actively suffer from. And maybe I'm going to need God's intervention. Oh, but this year, I already told myself that that is not something that I really want to continue doing. Another way that we self sabotage, right, is by overthinking. My dear overthinkers, join the chat. We know what overthinking is. We know how exhausting it is. With overthinking, it's like, should I do this today? Am I good enough? What if I do this and it doesn't turn out well? What if my mommy doesn't like it? Or my daddy doesn't like it? Or I post it on YouTube and I get lesser view? Overthinking, right? We are even actively creating scenarios in our heads that do not even exist. I mean, it's okay to be a critical thinker, right? And think things through before you take action. But don't let your thinking hinder you from actually, you know, taking the step and actually doing the thing. Perfectionism, another way that we self sabotage, guys, is through perfectionism. We want everything to be perfect, we want the conditions to be perfect. I know that a lot of us are perfectionists, right? You want to do it so that it's perfect. You want everything that you do to be 100%, but that's not possible, guys. I think we should know this by now that there's no perfect. It can be as good as you want it to be, but perfect is like with perfectionism is like, okay, I want this to be squeaky clean. But guys, if everybody had to wait for the perfect conditions to start doing stuff, how many artists do you think we're going to have? How many writers? How many dancers? The condition cannot always be perfect. There's always something that is lacking. But you have to trust that the universe is giving or has given you everything that you need right now to make things happen. So before we continue, guys, I'd like for you to tell me one of the dumbest excuses you've ever given yourself just to get out of doing something, whatever it is. Kindly share with us in the comments and we're going to be reading. But guys, please, so if you have not subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. I beg you. I don't know what you're waiting for. You want me to go on my knees? I'll go on my knees and beg you. Subscribe. I beg, subscribe. Oh. And now to the question of why do we self sabotage? Fear of failure. We're so scared to fail, right? That we'd rather not try. You don't want to run the marathon race if you're not going to be first. You don't want to go for the competition if you're not going to be the winner. Like all of those things, it stops us from even trying. And we don't see the impact, the effect that it has on us, guys. But fear of failure, it's actually a real thing and it stops us from accomplishing a lot. The idea is of fear that my mind, that goes through my mind, makes me not want to do these things. And this is actually me holding myself back from achieving my full potential because of my fear of failure. Can you imagine, guys? And another reason, comfort zones. It's like we don't want to get out of our comfort zones. I, for one, guys, if I can be comfortable all of my life, I mean, I really don't mind. Even though looking at it to an extent, right, it might be boring, but on average, I wouldn't mind being comfortable. I mean, we all want to be comfortable. If I'm home and I have a cozy bed, active internet, a TV to watch, and my phone, I'm good. But there is more to life than that. And where do I find all of these things? Outside of my comfort zone. But now the fear of stepping out of my comfort zone or the fear of stepping out of our comfort zones is one thing that holds us back. Is one of the reasons why we would tell ourselves all the silly excuses just so we don't get to do that thing, just so we don't get to make that call, we don't get to send that email, we don't get to send in the application, or we don't get to write the song. That fear. Imposter syndrome is another reason why we self sabotage. I used to suffer from this a lot, guys, and I think I still do. What is imposter syndrome? Imposter syndrome is when you feel like you're not good enough. You compare yourself to maybe other people in the same field as you or people involved in like the same things that you're doing, and you're like, okay, I'm not good enough. I'm not up to this person's standard. I'll tell you guys a little story. Last week, right, I tuned into the Grammys. The Grammys were streaming live on YouTube, and I tuned in. And I witnessed Stems receive her award, and I was like, oh wow, that's going to be me someday. And then there was this thought in my mind. It was subtle, but it was there. Like it was inevitable to notice. It was there. It was like, maybe you're not good enough. Are you sure? How many Cameroonians have gotten a Grammy? You're never going to get there. Self sabotage. Me not feeling like I am good enough. And for a minute, it held me back. And I questioned it. I was like, okay, but do I really deserve to get a Grammy? And then I was like, you know what? F it. I'm going to get a Grammy. I will get a Grammy. It's okay to dream and put in the work. My people, self sabotage is very subtle, but it's dangerous. It's very dangerous because you don't really get to notice the effects at the time. You get to look back 5, 7, 10 years later and you're like, okay, what have I done with all of this time? And you notice that you actively sabotaged your way out of making things happen for you simply because you were scared that people were going to mock you, or you just didn't want to get out of your comfort zone, or you even had that feeling that you were not good enough. Let nobody ever tell you that you are good enough. You are enough. You are good. You are enough, and you are good enough. There are multiple ways to stop self sabotaging. And by saying this, I'm not only talking to you, the viewers, I'm talking to myself as well because, like I said, to be honest, this is something that I get to suffer from. I do it to myself. And I know that I'm not alone in this, but I want that 2025 should be a year of difference for all of us. So one way that we can stop self-sabotaging is by catching ourselves in the act. Catch yourself in the act. Okay, like imagine you had to write a 3-page letter or whatever. You had something to do, right? And then it crosses your mind. You're watching TV and midway through a very interesting scene, it crosses your mind and you're like, oh, I had to write this. And then you're like, nah, I'm going to do it tomorrow. The moment you realize you've pushed it away, tell yourself, I see what you did there. I see. And then try to redirect and, correct course so you can do the right thing. You can do the needful. But you also need to take action before your brain convinces you not to. Because our brain is going to always find the slightest excuse to talk us out of doing that important thing. Our brains, as much as it's out to help us, if we're not in control, it's going to be our greatest distraction. And so, before your brain wants to talk you out of doing something, just do it. Just drop everything and do it, because the moment you start waiting, your brain is going to give you reasons why you shouldn't do it. And when you start looking at reasons why you shouldn't do it, you're either going to put it away for tomorrow that we know that it's never going to come, or never. So, guys, take action before your brain convinces you not to do that thing. And also, guys, just put away perfectionism. There is no such thing as perfectionism. There is nobody on this earth that is perfect, that can do anything to 100% perfection, as long as there are forces and things that are out of your control. Just do what you can do with what you have. Start somewhere, anywhere where you are, start somewhere. Some people will come and tell you, I started my restaurants with 25 francs and 3 grains of rice, and now look at where I am. Guys, some of those stories are silly. They are very silly. But if you actually look at the backstory of it, it might not be literal, right? But they might have started from somewhere. Every big person you see today was once small. Every big company you see today started maybe as just a small store at the corner. Everything that is big was once small. So you cannot go from nothing to awesome, nothing to perfection. You have to take steps, and it's in those steps. The beauty of the journey is in the challenges that you get to conquer. It's in the steps that you get to take. So if you're aiming for perfection, it's never going to happen. So guys, just ditch perfection, put it aside, throw it away. Let perfection never ever be the reason why you're not going to do something. The way you talk to yourself as well, the things that you say to yourself are either going to make you or break you. The conversations we have with ourselves are the most important. You need to be mindful about how you talk to yourself. You need to be kind to yourself. Emphasis on being kind, guys. Like I said, this year we need to be kind, especially to ourselves. Even if you want to call yourself out on something that you probably did wrong, be subtle about it and try to talk positivity into your life, because it's in talking positivity that you're able to breathe positivity. There is power in the tongue. The tongue has power, guys. So you need to be mindful of all the things that you say to yourself, because I know that you won't want somebody else to say something bad to you. So why would you be the one sabotaging yourself by talking down on yourself? Why would you be the one sabotaging yourself by highlighting your insecurities instead of your blessings? So, guys, please, can we try to shift the conversations that we have with ourselves from, negative to positive, or even neutral to start with? But let's mind the way we talk to ourselves. I'd like for you to tell us one thing that you're going to stop procrastinating about and actively do this week. I'm looking forward to that, guys. For me, this week I'm going to write 2 songs. I've actually been procrastinating about writing songs that I will probably freestyle a melody, and then I end up not writing the words because I feel like maybe the melody is not good enough, or the words that are coming are not good enough. But maybe if I just did it, I'll be, I'd have more songs. But this week I'm hoping that I actually get to stop being overly analytical and really just do what I have to do. Write songs. And I hope that next week I'm able to draw working. The mind is tricky. Some thoughts just come to us. We have absolutely no control or idea of where they come from, right? So self-sabotage is inevitable. But the real flex, the real flex is catching yourself in action and redirecting course. Catching yourself in action and choosing to do better. Catching yourself in action and choosing to actually move forward. So, guys, let's stop blocking our blessings in the name of God. I am begging. Let's stop blocking our blessings and actively show up for ourselves. 2025 is our year of rebirth, and I hope that by stopping self sabotage, we're able to transition into the higher versions of ourselves that we were made to be. And I know that by the time you're going to be seeing this, it's going to be Valentine's Day. So I want to take out this special moment to wish every one of you a happy Valentine's Day with so, so much love from my heart. I hope that the day is full of love for you. Not just the day, but I hope you have a love filled month. And I hope that you put yourself first. I hope that you love yourself as much as you're willing to give love to others. A big, big thank you, guys, to everybody who took out time to watch this video. And if you haven't watched the previous video, you can click the link above and go watch it. And I really, really hope to see you in the next video. Thank you so, so much for watching, guys, and see you next week. Bye. Mwah.